This is an American project. Please be sure to like and subscribe. We need to get a little over 300 and we'll be at the 1,000 mark. That's our goal. Okay, let's take a look at old Terrence Bradley, see what he's got to say. He was talking to the lawyer, giving his answer, and it didn't come out the way that we thought it would. He's dancing around the question. Not sure what happened here, but seems like someone got to him, that's for sure. Let's take a look at it.
When did you first get knowledge? I'm not qualifying what type of knowledge. I'm just asking when you first knew about the relationship.
I don't know how to answer that. I mean, so I can't give you a date if you're asking for a date. If you're asking me, how did I get the knowledge? It would have come directly from my client.
Right.
So help me understand.
I think you say you can't answer that question. You don't know the date. So that's the answer to the question.
But I said that 5 minutes ago.
We have to make it clear.
Yes, sir.
Next question, Ms. Merchant.
So you don't know the specific date?
No.
Do you know if can we narrow down the timeline? Did you gain knowledge in 2019 of this relationship beginning?
I'm going to object to this line of questioning as he said he does not know when he gained knowledge.
He doesn't know the specific date.
That's fine, Ms. Merchant. I think I'm overruling that. I think we can try to see if he can narrow it down based on goalposts.
Thank you.
19, I would probably say no. I mean, I don't have anything that there wasn't a specific date. There wasn't a football game. There wasn't something that I can attribute to him telling me whatever. And so you're asking for a date. You're asking for a year. It's still a date. And at this time, I am telling you that I do not have the date.
As you can see, he just does not want to answer that question. He's dancing around and acting like he can't come up with a year now. This is after he speculated, I guess that's what he's calling it now, to the attorney that he knew that it was before the date that Fani and Wade said so. So, really strange. Okay, that was from earlier this week. Now let's take a look at the 1st of March, Friday, to see what's going on in the courtroom. We see what kind of closing statements there are in the hearing to possibly remove Fani Willis from the Trump Georgia election case.
And we know that both Mr. Wade and Ms. Willis have some difficulty expressing the truth when it comes to their relationship in these cases. We know Mr. Wade lied in his interrogatories multiple times. We know Ms. Willis falsely certified that she hadn't received any gifts from anybody. And Mr. Wade clearly was a prohibited source. He was someone doing business with Fulton County. Anything over $100 in a year, she had to put down, and she put zero. And it defies imagination that she could somehow forget about all these trips, all these dinners, all these day trips, and not put that money down.
Okay, he's talking about all the money that got spent on Miss Willis by Nathan Wade and how she failed to put it down. You're supposed to put everything down that you get from somebody, and only certain parties can give you gifts or monies or stuff like that. And it's all recorded for the purpose of keeping any conflict of interest happening. The state has committed a conflict of interest situation where they will benefit for the prosecution of Trump and the other 18 persons.
Did she say in that church speech or anywhere else that the defendants were guilty? And I think she did in that church speech. She said in that church speech, and she was talking about a conversation that she apparently had with God, talking about herself. She said, this leader has a trial conviction rate of 95%. She said, the trial team this leader put together has a conviction rate of 95%. I do not see how anyone, and I think that was purposefully intended by Ms. Willis, I do not see how anyone can listen to those two statements and not take that Ms. Willis is telling everyone in that church and everyone that's going to hear that in the media afterwards that these defendants are guilty.
Okay, so there we can see multiple areas of a conflict of interest. When she was in that church and made that mess, that was terrible. She really looked silly, that's for sure. Okay, on this next clip, we're going to see one of the other lawyers come up and talk about the conflict of interest. This should help a lot of people understand what's going on. I had a lot of people in comments that didn't understand why she could not prosecute the case, why there was a conflict of interest. They didn't get it.
And I'm going to assume the most difficult standard for us to meet, which is actual conflict. That requirement is also embedded in the prosecutor's statutory oath, 15-18-2, which requires impartially and without fear or favor discharge my duties as district attorney and take only my lawful compensation, so help me God. The general rule on conflicts of interest for lawyers is in Rule of Professional Conduct 1.7. And we all know, it's all drummed into us, that we cannot have a conflict of interest. And if we do, we have to withdraw or we will be disqualified. The basic idea is that a conflict of interest impairs the lawyer's independent professional judgment. That's the test of a conflict and whether it can be waived and whether it's disqualifying.
McAfee said at the end of the hearing that there are several legal issues to sort through, several factual determinations that I have to make, adding that he will be taking the time to make sure that I give this case the full consideration it's due. Even if Willis fends off the disqualification effort, the allegations have threatened to taint the public's perception of the prosecution. Trump and others have seized on the relationship to try to cast doubt on the legitimacy of the case as the Republican presidential primary frontrunner vies to reclaim the White House. And there you have it. Thanks for coming by. Please be sure to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And have a great day. God bless.